Public enemy number one in the U.S. is drug abuse. To defeat this enemy, it is necessary to wage a new, all-out offensive. Well, that was then, and this is now. And as they say, the rest is history. And history is left to kick Dick Nixon around once again. Well, and let me make this perfectly clear. I wasn't the only one in the White House who was gung-ho to plunge this nation into a war with itself. They were all hot to trot, particularly those miscreants that ended up in prison. As I recall, it was that snob Eagle Crow and that lunatic G. Gordon Liddy and his crew of plumbers who got the ball rolling. I should have known these guys were off their rockers from the outset. After all, they were the ones, for PR reasons, who snuck Elvis into the Oval Office at 3 in the morning, sporting a Halloween costume and mumbling some crap about the Beatles. It turned out to be a bad omen. Then there was Haldeman, H.R. Haldeman. He came up with the idea of conflating crime with drug abuse and lumping it all together on top of the black community. Of course, he used the N-word back then, but we all did. After that, it was John Ehrlichman, who distorted the side effects of marijuana and then blamed the anti-war protests on reefer madness. Well, naturally, all this gibberish got Hoover so hopped up with excitement that he ran out and got himself a nice negligee at Frederick's of Hollywood and spent the nights dreaming of ways of exploiting his new drug war powers to wipe out the civil rights movement and the peace movement at the same time, which, I will admit, was our main objective. Well, the whole thing has spun out of control. Like a fool, I ignored the advice of some of the saner heads of my team, such as George Shultz, who opposed the drug war from day one and has become one of its leading critics. No, not that Shultz. Yeah, that's the one. He's looking pretty good these days, isn't he? If I had really been on my toes, I would have gone straight to the general. There is no question in my mind that Ike harbored grave reservations about the prospects of a domestic war and would have warned me about the dangers of a future prison industrial complex. But that aside, I should have known better. After all, one would think a guy from my generation would have remembered Prohibition. Well, we certainly remember it now, do we not? Can you imagine where the hell I would have been during the final days of the Nixon administration if all the liquor was being brewed by a bunch of hillbillies in Kentucky? Stumbling around the Oval Office blind, that's where. Well, I can see now, better than ever, and the time has come to fess up to this tremendous blunder and try to develop an exit strategy to bring this never-ending nightmare to an end. But I can't do it on my own. Tricky Dick needs your help. So, do your patriotic duty and look up an organization opposed to the drug war and find out what you can do to help realize a peaceful solution to this 40-year conflict. Thank you, and may God bless. Oh, by the way, I am not a crook.